Hey guys, welcome to another tactical analysis for Football Masterclass. Today we're gonna take a look at one of the most important matches in Bundesliga this season as Dortmund went head-to-head with their rival Bayern Munich, looking for a win to shorten the distance with the top position. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more tactical analysis from us, please support with a like and subscribe to our channel. Click on a little bell notification you could find right down below. Now let's get started with the formation from each side. There was no change in Dortmund formation, with their 3-4-2-1 setting up with Haaland at the top as the target man. For Bayern Munich, playing with 4-2-3-1 formation, the clash between two speedy players like Alphonso Davies and Hakimi will be really interesting to witness. Dortmund defended with a shape of 5-4-1 and a town 4-4-2. Notice how they keep a wide orientation in a defending shape. The purpose here is to keep enough space to maintain the fluidity in transition if they win the ball back. Dortmund looked to cause damage in the early minutes of the game. Haaland acted as the wall to bounce the ball once he won the header, which is something that Favre looked to exploit out of this enormous Norwegian striker. Notice how Brandt drifted in the middle, not too close to Haaland to occupy the space, but not too far in order to collect the loose ball. Hazard was going long, waited for a needle pass from Brandt in the right-hand side. You can see this type of play used repeatedly during the match, with a long ball initiated from the central back or the goalkeeper. The Dortmund was pushed back to their own half most of the time and play out using counterattacks. The relationship between the double pivots helped shape the formation. The whole move definitely was joined with Brandt in the middle to form a midfield of four, while Delaney tracked back to assist circulation from the back, forming a back four, Hazard and Haaland up front, to prevent attacking movement, creating chances for Bayern Munich forwards. In this instant, Dortmund set out this pressing trap. Notice there was a huge gap left open. Coman entered the half space played by Kimmich, but as he received the ball, all passing options were marked, and one Dortmund players were immediately closing in. Dortmund often retreated behind the center circle, forming a diamond shape to prevent central penetration. That is why Bayern Munich's center backs face a little pressure coming up to this point, which explained the high average position of Bayern Munich. One flaw that could be picked out from the first half is that Dortmund's two lines of defense was often pushed too deep in their defensive third, as the dribblings coming from Coman and Davies. This left the area 14 wide open, which Goretzka had a chance at the 40th minute and Kimmich at the 43rd minute, one of which became the only goal that separated the two teams. In the second half, bringing in Sancho and Emre Can, Favre wanted to bring in both solidity and creativity to the middle, but in this instance, Emre Can's position was off. As a defensive midfielder, he has to man-mark Goretzka. Haaland did not provide cover shadow as well. The result was Goretzka was allowed both time and space to take a shot at goal. This is how it looked like when Bayern Munich imposed their attacking style. Coman and Gnabry are both great on speed, join the front three, two full-backs pressing high, and this is highly offensive, so when there were hiccups, Davies will cut inside to form a three-man line in midfield, preventing counterattacks from Dortmund. Pressing trap was set by Bayern Munich to win back possession. When pressing, Müller often moves to level with Lewandowski in pressing the first line. Notice how Lewandowski intentionally left a gap for a passing lane from Hummels to Delaney. Once the ball reached the midfielder, the players within a proximity of the ball closing in, forcing the ball to go to the flank. Once on the flank, Dortmund became an easier target to dispossess. In their own half, Bayern Munich were advancing from the back with the support from the front line, often from the Ram, Deuter, and Müller. As you can see here, numerical superiority here was enough for the build-up. Bayern Munich's left flank was filled with running machines like Gnabry, Davies. The two often crisscrossed to open up space to exploit through the outside gap between the central back and the fullbacks. Playing with the double pivots are often conservative going forward. Bayern Munich made sure the two were not isolated, with one of their forwards dropping back into the half space as the ball traveled from side to side. Another advantage is that this will create more players within the half space right outside of the 18-yard box, which could create goal-scoring chances. Alphonso Davies had a solid performance in the first half, but his position was clearly a target for Dortmund. When the fullbacks advanced high up the field, it is decision to have a central midfield to drop back to cover, which is something you could see in teams like Barcelona with Rakitic, Modric and Real Madrid, Fernandinho and Man City. There was no support from Bayern Munich central midfields in the left flank, which opened up a huge space to high to be exploited. Although having a promising future ahead, the highlight from this match could be the runs made by Davies up and down the pitch that wowed the audience, but he was often out of position if not completely out of place. That was the reason why he made so many tracking back runs. Dortmund cannot take advantage of this, but surely this is not something the Flick should overlook. Bayern Munich made up for their offensive inclination by striking back in numbers to create immediate numerical advantage. In this play, you can see that Muller and Gnabry drop back to Goretzka and Davies. This has one problem: as one Dortmund switch play, these players will go back to the front, leaving a huge vacated space. Also notice that Haaland attracts 3 men to mark him, which is also create space in front of the box for Dortmund. Dortmund had a clear chance thanks to 2 factors: Coleman's declining discipline as he did not run back to track Hazard in the far side. Haaland's threats attract 2 key Bayern Munich players in defense, which opened up a huge goal-scoring chance, but luck was not on their side, as looking back, this should have been a penalty. Both teams had a very solid performance, which is quite convincing if you look at the expected goal figures for the 2 teams: 0.56 for the home team Dortmund and 0.78 for Bayern Munich. The small difference could be the factor that separates the 2 sides.